So yesterday we were done with the topic parallel plane waveguide and just forgot to touch upon one point that we have two modes, right? We have one is TE mode. Why is it called as TE mode? Because the electric field is transverse to the direction of propagation, right? That is, it has no component in the direction of propagation. So we say since it has no component in the direction of propagation, for a TE mode Ez is 0 and Hz has a component in the direction of propagation. So Hz is not 0. Similarly, for TM mode, what we will say? So magnetic field is transverse to the direction of is sorry, what was it? Yeah, magnetic field is not transverse to the direction of wave propagation. So here Hz is 0 and Ez is not 0. So this thing you should know. Again, no need to buy it. For electric field is transverse to the direction of propagation. So it has no component, right? So that's why you have to analyze it. So there is no need to buy it. Right? Next topic is rectangular waveguide. So what we do in a rectangular waveguide is we need to find this Ez and Hz components for the particular modes. So for that we require the electric fields and magnetic fields, right? So there is something called as analysis of a waveguide using general approach. So that is not there in the syllabus. So I will not take that derivation. So I will write the electric and magnetic fields directly. So there are four equations. Ex is minus j omega. I will use a new page. So the equations are Ex equal to minus j omega mu by h square del by hz by del by y minus j beta by h square del by x Ez. Then we have Ey equal to j omega mu by h square del by x hz minus j beta by h square del by y Ez. Similarly, we'll have hx and hy. So hx is j omega epsilon upon h square del by Ez by del by y minus j beta by h square del by hz by del by x. And finally, we have hy as minus j omega epsilon by h square del by Ez by del by x minus j beta by h square del by y hz. And what is h? Where h square equal to omega square mu epsilon minus beta square. So this is the value of h square. This is h. Okay. So what we have to do? So next we consider the next topic is rectangular waveguide. Okay. So let's first see the construction of a rectangular waveguide. Rectangular waveguide. So how does it look? Obviously it will be rectangular in shape. Okay. So there are two dimensions. One is called as the broader dimension and one is called as the narrow dimension. So let's say this is the broader dimension. So this is A and this is B. So this is the standard nomenclature. The broader dimension is always denoted by A and narrow dimension always denoted by B. So this is just a rectangle. So how will it be a rectangle waveguide in this direction? So what is the axis we are using? We are using this sort of axis. So this is Z. So this should be y, right-handed coordinate system. This should be x, like this, right? Z, then x to y. And so we are assuming the wave is always propagating in the z direction. So that is our basic assumption. So that is what we have to find out. We have to find out Ez and Hz. So from this we will get Ex, Ey, Hx, Hy. So we will have the completely defined E vector and H vector. So how to do this? So this is the simple construction of the waveguide. So next we first analyze TM mode. So then we can just use similarly and do it for TE mode. Okay. So the best way to find electric field and magnetic fields is using the wave equation. So for TM mode, first what we see, what is 0? Hz is 0 and Ez is not 0, right? So we have to find Hz here. We have to find Ez here, not Hz, because Hz is 0, right? So what is the wave equation? Del square, I'll first write the one which we have used. So del square E vector equal to minus omega square mu epsilon E vector. This is the equation we have used, right? Here we are interested only in Ez. So what will it become? And dabba square is what? Dabba square by dabba x square plus dabba square by dabba y square plus dabba square by dabba z square Ez. So I'll just multiply Ez everywhere. Ez. So I'm taking this plus or minus over here. So plus omega square mu epsilon, again E vector is Ez equal to 0. So let's say this is equation 1. So again, what is our aim? To find this Ez, right? So then what we say is this equation can be solved by the method of separation of variables. So we say, so we might have studied separation of variables method in mathematics. We say let Ez be a product of x, y, z. Why we know it should be a product of x, y, z? Because obviously Ez is dependent on these variables x, y, and z. So therefore Ez of x comma y comma z equal to x of x, y of y, z of z. Okay, and it is implicitly assumed that it is dependent on time. Obviously it has to depend on time, and we say we don't write that term usually, just to make the equation simpler, nothing else. Okay, so let's say this is equation 2. So now substitute or put 2 in 1. What will we get? Ez is what? X, y, z. Capital X, capital Y, capital Z. It is a function of x, y, z, that is assumed. So with respect to x, Ez will be what? X, y, z. With respect to x, y and z is constant. So what will it be? Y, z, d square x by dx square plus dabba square by dabba y square x, y, z. With respect to y, x and z are constant. So plus xz d square y by dy square plus xy d square z by dz square plus omega square mu epsilon Ez. What is Ez? Again x, y, z. So plus omega square mu epsilon x, y, z equal to 0. What hint does it give? That we should divide by x, y, z. So what will we get? Therefore 1 upon x d square x by dx square plus 1 upon y d square y by dy square plus 1 upon z d square z by dz square equal to 0, right? So now what does it say? Addition of all the three terms should be 0. So 0 is the constant. So what does it indicate? Each and every term should be a constant. It should not be any variable, right? So each and every term should be constant, right? So what we can say? So we assume three equations. So let's say this is equation 3. So we assume let 1 upon x d square x by dx square equal to minus a square, 1 upon y d square y by dy square equal to minus b square, and 1 upon z d square z by dz square equal to minus beta square. Okay, so you just solve this. What will you get? I have taken in this way the assumptions that will come to know in this equation. So d square x by dx square plus a square x equal to 0. Then d square y by dy square plus b square x equal to 0. And finally d square z by dz square plus beta square z equal to 0. Right? So if you observe, this is of the form d square v by dt square plus v square t equal to 0. So this is nothing but sort of equation of a transmission line. So we already know the solutions for this. So that is the reason we have assumed this as minus. And I forgot to tell you one thing. It was dabba here, partial derivative, but it is complete derivative here. Why? Because it is a function, x is a function of x only, and we are taking the derivative with respect to x. That is why this is the complete derivative. So let's solve further. So if you take the solution of this differential equations, what will you get is x equal to some constant c1 cos of ax plus c2 sin of ax. Y will be c3 cos of by plus c4 sin of by. And finally z will be c5 e raised to minus j beta z plus c6 e raised to plus j beta z. So this indicates what? A traveling wave. This is C. Okay. So where C1 to C6 are constants to be determined. And how will we determine them? So we have seen in electromagnetics, we always use boundary conditions. So using constants to be determined using boundary conditions. Okay. So first let's use the very simple case without boundary condition. So this is a rectangular waveguide. So you are assuming it is infinite in nature along the length z. So if a wave is propagated from here, it is never going to return back since it is infinite. Right? So since it is never going to return back, can I say this is C6? C6 is 0 because this indicates a forward traveling wave. Forward traveling wave is there. It is traveling like this. Backward traveling wave is minus plus j beta z. This plus indicates backward traveling wave. So this is not there, means C6 is 0. So we say assuming infinite extent of waveguide, C6 equal to 0. Right? So therefore what will be Ez? Ez is what again? It is x, y, z. So we have x, y, z. So just multiplications of this term. So c1 cos of ax plus c2 sin of ax into c5 cos of by. Sorry, this is c3 plus c4 sin of by into c5 e raised to minus j beta z. Right? So next what you have to do, find c1, c2, c3, c4, c5 using boundary conditions. So what is the boundary conditions? We know that the electric field component is continuous at the boundary. Tangential component of electric field component is continuous at the boundary. That is ET1 equal to ET2. And since the boundaries are what? What are the boundaries? That page. Yeah. So these are the boundaries, and what is the tangential component? The wave is traveling in this direction, right? So this is my waveguide along this extent, right? So wave is traveling like this along the z direction. What are the tangential components? So all these walls, 4 walls are the tangential components represented by green sketch pen. So all these are what? My tangential components. So it will be like this here and this, right? So all the 4 broad walls are my tangential components, right? And we know at the boundary the electric field should be 0, right? Why? Because boundary conditions tells that ET1 equal to Et2, and it cannot penetrate a conductor, right? So at the conductor skin, because of skin depth, it will become 0. So at the conductor boundary, it should be 0 only, right? Otherwise, we can use m equal to 1. Number of half, m indicates what? Number of half cycle variations. So one half cycle variation also tells us that this should be 0. If it is 2, we have 2 variations. So it is like this. So anyways, we get 0 at the boundary. So that is also another hint, right? So we say by boundary condition Ez equal to 0 at where? Again, I'll draw that waveguide here. This is my broader dimension, this is my narrower dimension, right? And this was my y, this was my x, right? So x equal to 0 here, x equal to a here, y equal to 0 here, and y equal to b here, right? So Ez should be 0 here, here, at y equal to 0, y equal to b. Ez should again be 0 here and here. So x equal to 0, x equal to a. That is at the boundaries. So we say at x equal to 0, x equal to a, y equal to 0, y equal to b, right? So let's apply corresponding to Ez equal to 0. So you have to use this 4 times. So using Ez equal to 0 at x equal to 0 in this equation. So let's say this is equation 7. In 7, so what will we get? Ez equal to, what is it? X equal to 0. So this will be what? C1. This is 0. So this completely goes to 0. Cos 0 is 1. So C1 into this will be cos by, sin by. So it will be as it is. So C1 into C3 cos by plus C4 sin by, right, into C5 e raised to minus j beta z, right? And this is equal to what? 0. Right? So we don't know boundary conditions for this, right? So this cannot be 0. E raised to minus j beta z cannot be 0. So either C1 has to be 0 or C5 is to 0. So let's say implies C1 equal to 0, right? So therefore Ez equal to what? C1 is 0, right? So this C1 is 0, so this goes away. So C2 sin of AX into C3 cos of By plus C4 sin of By into C5 e raised to minus j beta z. Then we using Ez equal to 0 at x equal to y equal to 0 will apply because it will be simpler. Therefore Ez equal to, so what will we get? So C2 sin Ax, again it is not dependent on y equal to 0, so it will be as it is. Then here y is 0, so this is 1, right? Again y is 0, so this complete term is 0. So into C3 and then C5 e raised to minus j beta z equal to 0. So what does this imply? Again C3 should be 0 because this cannot be 0, this cannot be 0, so either this or this has to be 0. So implies C3 equal to 0. So what will Ez become again? So therefore Ez equal to, what is happening? C1 was 0, C3 was 0. So C2 sin of Ax into C4 sin of By into C5 e raised to minus j beta z equal to 0. right? So therefore Ez equal to C2 C4. I am collecting the constants. C5 sine of AX sine of by e raised to minus j beta z. So this is what is it, right? So these are nothing but constants. So let's combine them to one constant. So therefore Ez equal to C sine of AX sine of by e raised to minus j beta z, right? So now using boundary condition at x equal to a and y equal to b, this is remaining, right? We have just applied x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. So what will it be? Ez equal to c sine of capital A into small a sine of capital B into small b e raised to minus j beta z, right? So what does this imply? And this should be equal to 0 because at this value Ez is 0. So for this to go to 0, AA should be what? M pi, and BB should be N pi, right? So therefore A equal to capital A equal to M pi by A, capital B equal to N pi by B, right? So substituting this in this equation, what will we get? So therefore Ez equal to we are substituting in this equation. So C sine of A into M pi by A, B into N pi by B. So C sine of, sorry, A is this A is what? M pi by A, right? So what will it become? Just a minute. Yeah, A is what? M pi by A. So M pi x by A, B is N pi by B, so N pi y by B. So sine of M pi x by A sine of N pi y by B e raised to minus j beta z, right? So what is this? This is the complete solution of the wave equation for what? TM mode. So this is complete solution for wave equation for TM mode, right? So now you might have a doubt, what about the constant C? We have not determined it. It just represents what? Amplitude. So as we have seen in antenna course, we are not concerned with the exact value of amplitude. We are interested in the nature of the equation, or the equation is like. So in the same way, we are not interested in C. And then we know we have to find each and every component of E and H. So for TM mode, Hz is 0. So next, what is remaining? Ex, Ey, Hx, Hy, right? So for that, we have already written the equations, right? So we have it here. So Hz is 0, right? So Hz is 0. So this goes away, this goes away, this goes away, this goes away. So minus j beta by h square delta by delta x Ez. So with respect to x, you have to differentiate Ez, right? So it will just be multiple differentiation of this. So I'll directly write the values. So Ex is minus j beta by h square into C cos of M pi x by A sine of N pi y by B e raised to minus j beta z. So this is equation number, let's again restart with one. Ey is minus j beta by h square into C sine of M pi x by A cos of n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta z, equation 2. Then hx is j omega epsilon by h square into c sin of m pi x by a cos of n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta z is equation 3. And finally we have hy minus j omega epsilon by h square into c into m pi by a cos of m pi x by a sin of n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta z. So this is equation 4, and we have a h term here. So what is that h? So where h square, so we have already seen it is omega square mu epsilon minus beta square, right? So if you actually solve this, it will be equal to m pi by a the whole square plus n pi by b the whole square. Okay, so what we have done, I'll just recapitulate. We started with the new topic, rectangular waveguide. So this is the broader dimension A, this is the narrow dimension B, and this is the extent of the waveguide. So we have assumed the wave is propagating in z direction. So for TM mode, Hz is 0, Ez is not 0. So Hz we already know, we have to find Ez. So for that, what is given? Ex, Ey, Hx, Hy we already know from general approach, which I have not taken. So these are direct equations. I have not taken because it is not in syllabus. So then we start with wave equations. Del square E vector is minus omega square mu epsilon E vector. We are interested in Ez, so we substitute E vector as Ez. And del square is dabba square by dabba x square plus dabba square by dabba y square plus dabba square by dabba z square. So if you solve this, we solve this using the method of separation of variables. So we have to find Ez. So Ez is x, y, z. So after using these things, we come to this equations resembling transmission lines. So what is the solution of them? It is this. So these are the usual equations. That is a complementary function, particular integral. If you use those forms, you will finally arrive at this equation. Right? So these are constants to be determined. So we determine them using boundary conditions. So finally, after determining them, what we arrive at is this equation. So Ez is c sin of m pi x by a sin of n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta z. So we have known Ez, so Hz is 0, so Ex, Ey, Hx, Hy is remaining, so we substitute here. So derivative of x and y we take, so sin might become cos somewhere. So that is why how you get these equations. And finally, h square is omega square mu epsilon minus beta square. So we have seen equations in the last lectures. If you use those, we will get this as m pi by a the whole square plus n pi by b the whole square. So what is the change here? Instead of a single thing m, we are getting usually m only. Now we are getting n also. So just think over it, what might be the effect on modes for this. Okay, so then we'll continue tomorrow.